drum you had. And we two made together a workshop down in towards Oslo.
Down. Down.
That's it. We were down there. And I remember when we were there on one stage, I was sitting on my little chair and I was talking about physical mediumship. And we had loads of students there. And on the table next to me, we had the trumpet lying, which are a trumpet that we are using within physical. I have them here somewhere, or whatever it is. We have definitely a drum lying. It's a thing that Spirit will make a microphone off so he can speak through it. So that was lying on the table. And in the same time, you have put your drum next to my sort of microphone or whatever trumpet we had was lying there. And I was sitting there talking, and suddenly everybody was pointed towards the table, and we was all looking sort of sideways, and the actually drum was starting to vibrate and play, and the trumpet was starting to move around too, which was for me and everybody who saw it very fascinating to see the two cultures within physical mediumship, if you like. And when also we sat, I have to say, in a room, and you were doing is again something that Kjerstin and I have seen that Kjerstin can do it. She said, I like to call in the wind. She said, let us talk to the wind. And then you will take the drum up and you will start to drum. And you were sitting there, and we was also looking around, and suddenly into a locked room where there was no access to the window came the wind. And the wind came and our hair was fluttering like this. And I was going, is that not fantastic? And I remember people was in awe and shocked. Even the Norwegian, who didn't quite understand the culture of what you could do with the drum and how you talked to the wind. I know for a long time you did a lot of talking to the wind and other things. So these have been the things that I really have loved, I have to say, to have seen the nature and how you can use that nature. It has been absolutely fantastic. So that is another things where we have done our workshops together, is again sharing cultures. For me, it's always sharing. I love to share, like I know you do.
Yes, I do as well. And why not share the things you have? And why not share what is there all the time, actually? And it's available for everybody. Yeah. It's not for us Samic people. It's for you, for everybody. Yeah. So, and it's not doing, when people ask me, are you shamanic? I know what they are asking about, but I always answer, I just do what becomes to me natural to do.
Yeah.
Because I was brought up in the northern part of Norway, and everybody in Norway, especially in the northern part, I would say, is very close to the nature.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, and the difference is some of us use it more than others. That's the whole difference.
Yeah, yeah.
So the place where I have learned most is actually outside in the nature. That's my book. That's my learning book. The nature is teaching me all the time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And of course, it's all up to me to listen and to see and to feel.
Yeah. I remember when you took me again with you, you wanted to go to we went to a lavo, and explaining later on, but you can explain to people what a lavo is. It's very simple. But we had a little fire in the middle, and then we had other Sami people there, including yourself and me. And at that stage, I was giving a drum to hold. And then you were doing something which is very interesting, and not a lot of people knows about this. It's called yoiki. It is a wonderful sound that you have up in the north of Norway, or people who can do drumming or whatever also have yoik with it. Yeah. And there was a little bit of a yoik going on and sort of singing going on. And I was given a drum, and I was just going, closing my eyes, and I was just banging it, this kind of thing, my drum. And I remember then after maybe about half an hour or something like that, I remember, well, this is interesting. Somebody said to me, are you all right, Marion? I went, yeah. I didn't quite know where I were. That I do remember. And they said, what happened to you? And I was sort of standing there for a bit and I was saying, I don't know. I think I was talking to the reindeer. I said, whom told me that the skin in which I was banging on came from his arse. That was my whole experience in standing in a laval and standing with the drum and just drumming. And I thought, how very interesting. And I think that you told me that if the skin does come from reindeer's arse.
Yes.
So
Because the man who gave it to you, the drum to you, the drum maker, he was actually with us, and he was smiling, and he was a very quiet and very humble man. And he told you, I remember that, and he was smiling, and he was saying to you, yes, Marion, it was his ass skin I used.
yes.
So it was totally correct, yeah.
It was just very interesting. That was my first, if you call it, a trip with the drums or a vision with the drums, was playing on them.
Yeah,
Playing the arse, this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Could you explain about the laval in which we are now talking about?
Ladies, sorry, I'm just disrupting you right now. We have about 20 minutes back.
Yep. Just that little one, and then we're going to drumming.
Okay, 20 minutes. Well, the word laval is actually a Sami word, Northern Sami word. You can compare it with the Red Indian teepees. It's a tent, and the tent is, well, when you know it's like a teepee, you know it's circled, and it's pinpointing up. And the laval is today it's used as when the reindeer herder is moving his herd from inland to the coastline. It's his place to stay and live and sleeping when he's herding. Today it's nobody lives in a laval anymore, and it's very common nowadays to see a laval standing outside the houses, because we do actually live in houses.
Yes.
It's very important to tell, because a lot of people believes that the Sami people, we live in lavos, and that's not true.
Yeah.
Today we use the laval more for smoking. Smoking our meat, hanging it up in the lavos, smoking meat or fish, whatever. And it is also learning about the Sami culture. Then we often use the lavvo to come in and sit in.
Yeah. What is very interesting, Kjerstin, is that the American teepee, which we were just talking about, was made of buffalo skins or whatever. But in Norway, it is made of the reindeer, isn't it?
Yes. In the winter time, before it was reindeer skin, but today it's actually made of fabric.
Yeah.
It's a fabric, you can compare it with canvas, very strong canvas.
Yeah. Very, very interesting. Now, because we don't have a lot of time, one of my things, and has always been, is may we hear you playing your little song on your drum and let people experience this around the world, that I would like to hear the sound of your drum. And it is a healing, is it a healing thing that you do, or calming down thing, or?
In my way of drumming, I always have an intention.
Okay.
For me, it's really important to have an intention. I never bring my drum with me just to drum on it. I have always an intention. And I always also introduce my drum, because it's very, for me, this is like, it's sacred. My drum is sacred. In my opinion, every drums are sacred. This is a living being in a way. And you earlier mentioned the wind. This drum, my drum, is actually, this is the wind god. In Sami language, it's called Begolmai. So this is the wind god, and I choose the wind god because I am very close to that god. It's very powerful. Yeah. And this,
Kjerstin,
yeah.
Kjerstin, if you need to stand up and drum, it's okay.
Do you want me to stand?
Yes, if you want to, it's okay. And
Yeah, I
then if
can.
you go back behind the chair, then it's okay if you want that.
Yeah, I can stand up if you want me to.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Nice. Thank you.
How is it? Do you see me?
Yes, ma'am. Very nice.
Thank you. Okay, then I will do a small drumming, and because I live in a house with somebody in the first floor, I do it gently. Okay?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Tack.
Lovely. It is a very beautiful drums you have got with all your cymbals on it and your feathers hanging, and also your stick that you drum it with is very special, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I
It's
think.
called a hammer.
Mm.
It's a reindeer antlers, made of reindeer antlers. So it's a hammer.
It's just very interesting to see that. And also, I know that we have had a very small version out of what
Yes.
you normally do. Can you ever yoik?
Didn't you hear me?
I want to have the big yoik. Ole, ole.
No, because as I said earlier, because there is people in the first floor, I don't want to disturb them in any way. So I took a small little softly one.
I think that just the yoik, it's so fantastic to listen to, really. I think that was once upon a time, was it in the European song competition, somebody was yoiking or
Yes.
something like
Yes.
that?
Yeah, it was.
Which again is extremely interesting indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to round all this up is that we are very lucky that we have people like yourself that's full of knowledge, who love to share the knowledge, because we do know that a lot of knowledge are sacred or secret. I also have you will not talk about it, which I find is very sad. When there's people out there that could listen to what is going on, and the many things that's happening. We have also used your knowledge and my knowledge by helping of a disturbed spirit in one of the houses we went into. And I always remember I could have killed all of you in that house, because that I had to go and sleep in a beautiful, beautiful bedroom downstairs. But it was that room, darling, unfortunately, that there was the haunting things. And I remember lying awake all bloody night long and couldn't sleep, and was watching this guy going up and down outside the window, ringing bells and banging his drum. And I thought, well, why do they not get that guy to shut up and stop? And I remember coming up to you, looked like I had blue eyes and black rings around him. He said, "You all right, Marion?" I said, "Nope, I haven't slept all night long." And you all started to laugh when I was then told, of course, I had the haunted room. But what was interesting about this particular story I'm telling here is that when this house was built, I think it was sold by one of the farmers, a piece of land. But indeed, what it was built on was a holy site for the Sami people. And it was a gentleman from the Sami tribe at that time that was disturbing every vibration in the house, because that I think that probably it would have been all right if people have asked permission to build there.
Exactly.
But it was without the permission to build this place that he came back and haunted a lot of you. But after that one, I gathered he stopped.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, and the house was perfectly okay. So that is another place or another way that we have worked together by trying various different things out. So yeah, so there's a lot of places and a lot of ways that we can use the two cultures. It is also with me always about the cultures in which we can put together and the knowledge in which we can give. I was talking to Andreas Hillström from Sweden yesterday.
Yeah.
And you remember when in Denmark we had a big demonstration from the Nordic people.
Yeah.
He was there, I was there, putting our cultures together as in one. And we had a whole, I mean, there was no room for anybody else. I think it was 200 people or something that was there. And again, we was on the platform, but we also had somebody from Greenland with us. Yeah, that was, and you and her was both playing your drums together, because the Greenlandic has also got their drums, and you had your drums, and I know that people was absolutely fascinating to see those two cultures crossing, and the drums and the sound from both of them. So I believe that we have a lot to give to the world. You know, yes, the American has the Red Indians, and those from Australia, New Zealand has all their kind of native people.
Yeah, indeed.
But we in the Nordic countries, which are, you know, including the Norwegian, Swedish, Finnish, has got our Sami people. So I want to thank you personally for coming here and helping us and talking to us, and looking beautiful in your blue kofta. Love it. She's also got a wonderful red one. So that's lovely. I saw some wonderful photograph of you when you got married, again in your Sami clothing, which was absolutely beautiful, with really lots of jewelry and things like that. I appreciate that. So if there's nothing else, have you got something to say, Annette, or Bo for that matter?
Wow.
Okay.
Excuse me, Kjerstin, go on. Go ahead.
No, thank you. I'm.
So I would like to thank you too, both, to come into this broadcast. I was sitting here thinking when you did the drumming and the singing, Kjerstin. In this situation all the world is in right now, because of the coronavirus. I know you're a very positive person. A few minutes that we have talked together, and your energy is very positive. But how do you cope, and how do you maintain that positivity? How do you do it in this time where maybe the people around you is desperate or they are depressed, what would you do to cope with it? Or what are you doing, Kjerstin?
How I am doing? Well, first of all, I enjoy my own company. That's good. But no, I cope very well because I see that, and I'm thinking that maybe for the first time ever, prime ministers all over the world are talking together. We have the similar tema is COVID-19. Everybody is talking about it, and I can also see and experience that people are getting more and more polite, more and more nice to each other, and I like that. So why not? So I'm coping just fine, but of course I have an old mother. She's 85 years old, and she's a little bit afraid. But as she's coping. That she said, "Okay, if I die, I have lived." So, and we are also so lucky that the COVID-19, it's not that much in the north yet. So it is bad, but still it's not that bad.
But
So
you have also got,
if you should give us an advice from 500 kilometers north of the polar circle, what yes, you're living up north.
Yeah.
And what would your advice be to us to be positive? What would you advise us for? What can I do?
Yeah, what to do?
Yes.
Well, be yourself, and be polite, and be nice to each other, and relax, take it easy.
That's how you do it. Yeah.
I think that within this coronavirus, we have a lot of fear has come into people.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and that fear also has a frequency and a vibration.
Yeah.
I think that we have to use the word of lifting ourselves about it. I think that what it is, we have to accept the things we cannot change. We really have to accept that. We can't change it at the moment.
No.
But we can try to find ourselves. I mean, I am doing it this way.
Yes, and be true to yourself and the person you are, and don't let the fear rule you. You are going to rule your life because it's your power, it's your energy.
Yeah.
So don't let the fear take you or bring you.
Yeah. It really does do a lot of damage, actually, when you have this fear within you. And that fear then goes into your children, if you have any, and whatever. I think that if you try to do something, I mean, in London, it is, of course, a little bit different. We don't have nature as what you have. You know, Annette and Bo has a little bit more nature around them. I mean, our nature is the local park where 2,000 other people goes into if they can. So we don't have it. Luckily enough, living as you have been in my house in London, we have a little front garden, a middle garden, a little bit of a back garden. I have never planted so many bulbs as we have done this year. We're planting bulbs everywhere. And when the time of the, I have to say, the daffodils and the tulip comes up, well, we have got it. We have planted it everywhere. And that is, again, to let people see life.
Yes, and as you plant daffodils and so on, we are in the dark time now. The sun is soon back, but we are burning candles and lighting lights, and it's lights everywhere. And even though the Christmas lights is still up, so we are bringing light into to our days, and we enjoy it. I enjoy it.
And let that be the last words, the last thing we talked about: light and live and no fears. Thank you very much, all of you. Marion, Kjerstin.
Thank you so much.
We will now end this broadcast and stay tuned.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.